after I came out of a 2-month-long psychotic episode, I experienced severe depression like I never have in my entire life. So one of the first things I did was join a psychosis recovery program. Essentially all that was just meeting with a therapist every week, basically. That's one thing that I really recommend, is to talk about your experience, because the more you talk about it, the less that it'll affect you. Another thing that I will say that I feel like helped me get through that process was just really sitting with my negative emotions and just like really feeling them. Like I wasn't trying to avoid them. And I tell you, I would go to the park and sit down by myself and I would just cry and really just release all of that trauma and fear. Another thing that really helped me, and I guess it's just a concept that I learned to understand, was not trying to take control over things that I don't have control over. Basically what caused my psychotic episode. Basically I was trying to control a situation that I had absolutely no control over, and in doing that I basically drove myself insane, literally. So that was one thing that I really had to learn, was that at the end of the day you're only responsible for yourself and your actions and the way that you choose to live your life. Ever since I started to understand that concept, whenever something happens I ask myself, is this something I have control over? If it's not, I simply accept it and move on. If it's something I do have control over, then I ask myself, okay, what can I do in my daily life that is going to help the situation or help me get closer to what I want in life? That kind of leads me to my next point, which is being conscious of the choices that you make every day, because the choices that you make on a daily basis are a direct reflection of the kind of life that you're going to have. And also sticking to those things whether you feel like doing them or not, simply because you know that they're going to lead to a better outcome, right? When I was super down, low, and depressed, I did not feel like going to the gym. I remember I had the worst social anxiety, but like I said, I knew that working out and getting daily exercise would lead to a better outcome. Another thing that I feel like we all really have a hard time with is doing the things that don't necessarily feel good in that moment, but you know that in the long term they're going to make you feel better. Another thing that really helped me was learning to live in a state of gratitude and basically just train my mind to be thankful for being alive the second I wake up in the morning. Like I have trained myself to do that so much that that's like the first thing that comes to my mind every single morning. But when I first came out of a state of psychosis, the first thing on my mind every single day was like, fuck, why do I have to wake up and be a person again? And that leads me into my next point, which is learning to become conscious of your thoughts, because it's so easy to get stuck in a negative thought pattern. And for so long, that's what I did. First thought on my mind was negative every single day, and from there on it just continued on and on and on. And that's why I was so miserable all day long. I could go on and on about this stuff for days, but basically learn how to live in a state of gratitude, learn to accept the things you can't control, learn to make healthy conscious choices and stick to them whether you feel like it or not. Also, another thing I want to say is just be patient with yourself, because it is going to take time to start implementing these things, especially if you're in a really low place. It's not easy to just like get up and start making all these changes. So be patient, start implementing these things little by little, and I promise if you stay dedicated, it'll make the world of a difference.